Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tally the Votes, Big Brother. I think we're week 7 now. Um, and you know what? The nerds of the crew are just not having great HOH experiences. So we're here. We're going to talk about it. And we don't have Christy today. She's dealing with some car problems. So if you have any sort of, mechanical mojo, put it out there in the universe for our friend so she can get her car home. But we do have David here with me, and yeah, let's just get into it. We're gonna talk about it. Did you follow the live feeds this week, David?
I did. I did. As a matter of fact, I watched Sunday's episode on Monday, and then I watched Wednesday live, and it was like Sunday is like I almost felt like I didn't need to watch because I knew every single thing that was
Right.
going to happen.
Yeah, that does tend to be the pattern we get into for Sundays. But I like to give them credit. You know what? I don't like to give credit to CBS producers very often, and editing teams. But this season's Sunday episodes, short of the three alumni doing their in memoriam things,
Yeah.
the Sunday episodes have actually been pretty fun. They're having fun with some goofiness and editing and montages, and
Well, I
so
could have done without the singing, but I guess I said that last week.
yeah, I don't mind it. It's just
It-
silliness. It
well,
doesn't.
the singing could have lasted 30 seconds, not like 2.5 minutes.
Well, I got to do something with the time. It's like though I am surprised that we haven't got like a Quinn sleepwalking, sleep talking montage. And there's so much happening with Quinn all the time on the silly radar, so we don't, I guess we don't have time for it just being about Quinn. But yeah, he does tend to sleep talk and sleepwalk, and
It
then
was
they
actually
got it.
It was actually interesting this week because in the absence of Tucker, other people were getting screen time.
Well, sure.
So
Yeah.
so I felt like you started to see other people's personalities come out a little and the other little dramas that are going on in the house that maybe, Tucker just being such a big personality was kind of overshadowing.
Yeah, you bet. We did get a little bit of the underlined a plot of Mackenzie and Cam and Chelsea's talking about it, which she really hasn't. I mean, she's not talking to the camera in live feeds. So,
Right.
but it's interesting to see that she kind of, she definitely does feel the way about it. There's some live feeders that have, said, "Oh, I think she feels a way," but now it's confirmed. So, that was, you know,
Do you think that drove her vote this week? Because she darn well knew who Cam wanted to go home and she went the other way. So did
well,
she do that for her game or did she do that to
what was I don't this is the thing. This is what's interesting because this group of nobody in this nobody in this crew is a really great strategic player. They're just not. There are some that are definitely better than others, Chelsea being one of them. Um, but they have given us some of the most entertaining eviction nights because it's like if it's not going to be a surprise to somebody. I love it. We are not getting the everybody already knows who's going to go home like every Thursday.
Well, no,
So,
that's true.
but Chelsea, the last updates that I had were from yesterday and this morning, and it genuinely seemed like Chelsea was going to go after chemo because she would always reaffirm that he was the one that needed to go, and in the trio he was the first one that needed to be pulled. And so there was a few conversations like that she had with Mackenzie and stuff that oh, okay, she's hearing what they have to say. But I really, really was surprised. I thought for sure she was voting chemo out.
Is there maybe a fledgling female alliance minus Angela? Because
Maybe.
it, I mean, I'm just speculating, but it just seemed odd that both her and Mackenzie made that same decision.
Well, and it does seem as if Mackenzie, okay, some of the conversations that they had, it was like Mackenzie had almost been Mackenzie really was pushing for Joseph to go, but then she kind of heard Chelsea's arguments, and so it kind of seemed like maybe Mackenzie might change her mind. And you can see when she went to cast her vote tonight, like she was. I don't think she was really sure until she said the name out loud. Like,
I mean, I don't think there was really a bad decision for them. No matter what they did, somebody who voted for Tucker to stay was leaving.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, because this is who we had up on the block, and quite honestly, the person that it was the worst for was the person who was HOH. And Quinn just, I don't know. I like the guy. I like the person. I like the enthusiasm he has for the game. But this dude cannot, he's not great at this game. It's just
nor,
not, he's not
nor
good.
do,
He might fail all the way to a successful end, but
nor do I think we should be throwing around the term superfan as loosely as it seems we do now. I mean, it may be that he likes the show, but he's not a super fan because he has no idea the implications of his decisions. And
you
same
know
with Joseph.
what's really sad is I think, you know what? I think that you're dealing with two different cats on the super fan highway here. And we got Joseph, who is a super fan and feels like his game is, akin to one of the best players in the game. Uh
And
and
it's not even
it's
close.
there was nothing he did that was even similar. What, that you didn't go on the block? That's it. And then you did go on the block. So
Yeah.
he was delusional, right? Joseph lived in a bubble of like ego illusion. But Quinn, he's delusional, but he's like, he has faith in the wrong people at the wrong time.
Really, that's true.
And why Joseph? Why honestly, why did Joseph get put on the block as a renom
It
when
should have been T-Core, right?
you had
I mean,
T
that's the strategic move.
we had T-Core, but he also had Mackenzie. Like Mackenzie, who's
Mackenzie, but
honestly not
Mackenzie voted with him, so I can, and honestly, you
yes,
can't be a super fan of the game and not see the danger that the T-Core
but
chemo pair is bringing.
Joseph has voted with him before. T-Core has voted with him.
No, no, no. I understand,
Mackenzie
but
was a better option.
T-Core and chemo flipped the house twice.
No, I would say T-Core was a better option than Joseph by 100 miles, but also Mackenzie was a great option as well, and he had them. So to act like he had no other option and he was going to put up his own alliance member, his friend, his number 2 in the house, who does that?
Well, again, I don't know that he was his number two because they voted separately last week. So if they're so close, why are they voting separately?
Well, maybe not his number 2 in the game because he doesn't have a number 2 in the game, but his number 2 is in social bonds.
Sure, sure.
You just don't do that. He had other options. I just can't for the life of me figure out why he didn't choose those options. I do like that Joseph, did tell did tell Julie, like, oh, maybe I should have tried harder to get them to not put me up.
I think they should have had a final two alliance, and I think they should have called it friend zone.
Yeah. I mean,
CBS loves that stamp, don't they?
if they hadn't been living in the realm of delusion, they would have realistically figured this out themselves, and it would have been a perfect name. Like, it would, I dare say, it would be one of the best alliance names that Big Brother's had. But that's the thing about the friend zone, is so often the person in it doesn't recognize where they are. So there they are, thinking that Leah's doing all this. Leah had his, at the beginning of the week, you and I had, we had discussed, and you did on our Facebook page, Tally the Votes Facebook page, that Leah had made a really excellent move, deciding to take Angela off the block. And I would really love to agree that there was more contrivement to it, other than just, I like Angela and I'm just going to let people know, like, you can't tell me what to do. And I think that's literally as far as her brain put it. But then tonight, I do, whether you can appreciate that kind of game or not, and it might be to some people a cheap way of playing into other people. It's like you use whatever you have. But the fact that Leah has had these two guys literally just following her around, begging her to do the things for them. Like,
Right.
she is so much more of a problem for them, and they're both like, "Oh, I can't be mad at her." So
Right.
I do really love how much Big Brother is having fun with the ridiculousness of this not love triangle.
Well, and the stamps. The stamp, they've used that graphic now 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, she does have the boys wrapped around her finger, you know. But now one of them's gone, so her power literally just dropped 50%. So what you gonna do, Leah? Like, you were able to do something in a competition, you're gonna have to knuckle in now.
But I take issue when you said she didn't make the decision for any strategic reason. She actually came out and said she felt Angela was a vote for her on the jury. Now, whether she's right or wrong in that assessment, that was her rationale was if I get Angela to the jury and I get to the end, that's a vote for me.
She's right, but
And both the boys are a vote. So that's 3 votes she would have brought
but
herself to.
I also, and she's not in a terrible, like, it's not a terrible thought, right? This
Right.
person's going to be, especially when you're jumping into jury
Well, and as I
management.
pointed out, she's no threat to win.
Yeah. Once you're jumping into jury management, like, it's an important, we all know how important of a thing that is to have in this game. But it doesn't matter how good your jury management is if you are not doing something that very much looks like a thought out process from start to finish. So if she can get Angela's vote and then explain what she did in the game, I'm afraid I can't imagine her up against anybody left in the house where she's going to get more votes than the other person. At this point,
Joseph.
Joseph's gone.
Right, but he wasn't.
I mean, at
He
this
wasn't when she made the
point.
decision.
Right. But again,
She'd get more votes than Rabina. She'd get more
I
votes
don't think
than
she'd get more votes than Rubina. I don't think
Rabina
she
did
would.
nothing before tonight.
I don't, but as of the game right now, I do not think she'd get more votes than Rubina. I really, really don't. She doesn't actually have, like, nope, I don't think so. I'm
Rabina's
gonna
got
say
like
no.
2 friends.
That's 2 more votes than, that's at least 1 more vote than Leah's gonna have. The other vote Leah would have had, she ended up putting him on the block.
Right, Joseph or Quinn. But she'd get both those votes. If it was her and Rabina, she'd get both those votes.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm gonna argue that. I don't think so. If she had Joseph and Quinn in there, that would be one thing.
She'd get up and say, "Quinn, you know how much you meant to me."
You are my best.
And he would again not realize where he was and go on, "Oh, okay, I'll vote for you."
I still think Rubina would get more, but I don't think we're, like, talking about a winning streak where it's like a clean sweep. And the reality is the 2 of them are not going to be the 2 at the end. One of them maybe. There's no possible realm of reality where it's going to be the 2 of them at the end. So I'd say Leah thinking I'm going to keep this person in because it's a good jury vote for me isn't a bad strategy.
Well, it's a good jury vote, and she represents no threat to her game.
However,
no threat to win.
There comes a major risk in this because every single person that has gone out of their way to save Angela has blown up their game.
Fair.
She's not a safe bet. She is not a sane person.
Fair, but she's gotten arguably less nuts as the season's going on.
You know what?
She's become less nuts and more pathetic, in my view.
Well, that's just it. I mean, you look at, okay, yeah, so obviously there's the idea that Tucker, you might not be Tucker's number 2, seeing that he's got a girlfriend in the house now, right? But Tucker literally handed Vito over to her. Yeah. And then when she started losing her cool, he didn't get mad at her. He did everything he could. And it came from a place of earnesty, not just trying to save game. He's just like, what are you talking about? Like, I am being loyal to you. she wouldn't hear it. She did the same thing to Quinn at the beginning of the game when Quinn and Joseph did have her in their alliance.
Right.
It's just what she does. She gets paranoid and then she implodes.
Well, no question.
So
No question. But
I'd say
Lee's point was she's going to go home, and it's if I don't have a hand in it, I'm going to get her vote.
I feel like Leah needs to do something, so that's fine. I'm not arguing that she did nothing.
And by the way, it's the only game move she's made all season, so we got to give her a little credit.
I'm just saying, is it the best move? You know what? If Angela doesn't become Angela at her, it is the best move for Leah. Sure, we'll see.
And is Cam really just as chill as he seems? Just lazy and chill, and you know, because I thought for sure, because the Chelsea Mackenzie thing.
Yeah.
How do you let that happen?
Well, the beginning of the season, it was a Cam and Leah thing. And then it's become a Cam and Mackenzie thing.
Well, it was Cam and Chelsea for long. I mean, she considers him her number 2.
But the thing is with Cam is I think Cam's pretty good at just being laid back and making friends. And I think when his head is in the game, I feel like if he feels some pressure, I think he does okay in the game. But if he doesn't feel the pressure on him, he's not in the game.
So do you think the reason that Chelsea and Mackenzie didn't vote with him is he just didn't even bother lobbying? He didn't much care who went home, and he's just going to lay back and not lobby for.
Well, I know that's what I mean. There was some surprise tonight. I mean, there was definitely a blindside because Cam did not having Joseph in the game wasn't a bad, terrible deal for Cam. It just wasn't. He was somebody that he got along with. He was a number he could pretty much rely on with him. But this is the first time since the season began that MJ and Leah had different votes because they were kind of apart. You know, they always voted the same way.
Right.
And then Cam and Chelsea both voted differently too. So those are two duos that it was a very surprising night. I really, from all the information that I had gotten over the last couple of days, I really did think Chemo was going home.
Yeah. Well, it seemed to switch on the feeds this morning, though. There was a lot of Joseph talk.
Do you know who was the most blindsided of all of them? Was Angela. And she just did it to herself again.
Well, because Angela doesn't really see what's happening because nobody likes her enough to tell her.
Well, and because I don't even think that it's enough. I don't think that people feel like they can trust her emotional.
Okay, fair. We can't tell her what's going on because she'll blow it up.
Yeah, she'll blow it up or she'll stir crazy. I mean, I'm sorry, but this week when we got the part where Chemo was telling Angela, I voted for Tucker to stay. The instant crying that Angela had. I mean, that's what I mean. If you tell her anything that
does she have her tear ducts sealed with a laser or something? Because she cries a lot and never makes a tear.
It's because she's just, I think half the time she's not even being real. And then the other half, she's just overly emotional. I don't know. I don't know this lady. I don't know. But I do love that she's like, I'm sorry, I just don't have the votes to keep you. And it's like, yeah, you did. You did, though. Surprise.
What's really amazing about her is he basically said, F you, you're out the door. And she did vote him out.
Yep.
Now, I don't know about you, but if somebody would have spoke to me the way he spoke to her, I'd have been like,
And see, this is one of the things let's go back to Quinn for a second, because when we start going into the analyzing the human behavior and emotional responses of people, this is where Quinn is really interesting to me, because Quinn put up Joseph, and Joseph is supposed to be his bro, his buddy, his best friend in the house. And he put them up. He had control. He had the allowance and the power to put up whoever he wanted that was left instead of his bro, right?
Right.
But Joseph always talks to Quinn like he's the biggest idiot in the world. And
I don't think he's the smartest guy in the world. world.
We can definitely sit here and say, oh my God, Quinn doesn't know what he's doing. Oh, this is a terrible move. What have you? We're watching the gameplay. But when
Right.
you're in a social game and this is your friend, you can be honest with that going, you're terrible at this game and I'm way better at it than you. And you don't know what you're doing. And the way that Joseph was speaking to Angela is the same way he speaks to everybody.
Right.
And it started to piss people off this week. But there's this part of me that's like, he's your best buddy in the house, but there's got to be some part in Quinn's brain where he was, where he's just like, try it out then, bud. Like a little tiny morsel of, see how it feels.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably true. And I think Quinn has this idea in his head that he really wants to work with T-Core. And so he did not want to put her on the block.
Yes, but he also, okay, good, great. That works for me because, anybody that's willing to work with my winner's pick, great for me. But the how much he wants to continue working with Leah is something that has boggled my mind in the last 2-3 weeks. I mean, I get it. He's smitten, whatever, but it's almost as if the weird thing about this house is that everybody knows how everyone else feels about each other, but it seems like most people are not aware of that. They don't have the perception of what other people think of them. And in Big Brother, that's the coined phrase, right? Perception.
Well, it's EQ. Yeah, it's understanding how people are reacting to you.
And the fact that Quinn is just like, Leah has made it very clear to literally every single person that will listen and won't listen how she feels about him.
Yeah.
It's not a mystery.
Did you see when she was on the bed talking and he rolled towards her, not in like a suggestive way at all, and she recoiled?
All the signs are there, David.
Yeah.
They're loud and clear, but.
And I don't even think he was doing anything. You know what I'm saying? But her instinct was like,
Yep. Not even going to let you think.
Yeah, I don't even want you for a minute. You'd have that idea.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that I'm still a little bit shocked that Joseph went because, like I said, from where I left off, it did seem like Kimo was likely to be the one to go. How about that AI arena competition today? Let's
yeah. That, I mean, obviously it's one we're familiar with for being Survivor fans. I mean, we've seen that.
We've had it on Big Brother before too.
Sure. And it goes back to one of the things I always question, not so much on Big Brother, but on Survivor. I make the point all the time. If you're going to adjust the weight so that the stronger people have the same level of challenge as the weaker people on like a holding weight competition, how come on something like this are you not doing the height proportionately? Because that was absolutely geared towards a little person.
It was definitely in her benefit to be small in this one. But regardless of it being beneficial, you can tell that it physically wiped her ass out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so she was coughing and...
I'll give her that.
Do you think she has asthma? Because that almost sounded asthmatic.
That sounded very asthma.
Like she did something active and...
As a fellow asthmatic, part of the, Asthma Geek Club here.
I'm married to one.
So. It definitely had the asthma cough going. But she pushed it. And, she did it. I couldn't be anything but happy for her in that because she really pushed it. So now we got Rowena, T-Core, and Kimo are, a trio for sure.
Right.
I feel like there's been enough conversations between Rowena and T-Core and Mackenzie that they are pulling Mackenzie in. Obviously, we saw that tonight. That might be actually happening. As you mentioned, there may be a girls' alliance starting to form, but but it's not like they're like, oh, let's form all girls alliance. I just
other than Chelsea. Chelsea apparently has been very vocal about that when she has the opportunity.
Well, I think
that's coming up in the feeds quite often.
Now, do you think? I don't know. I feel like the Chelsea that we normally see is going to have to just roll past what is irritating her right now between Cam and Mackenzie. And I think
I think she'll get over it.
Yeah, I think she probably can. I don't think she's going to get too tunnel visioned on, I've got to get them apart. I've got to, maybe, but
No, plus I think she sees Cam as a very effective meat shield for her. As they get closer to the end of the game, if it's obvious they're aligned, he'll go before she will.
you know what though? Here's the thing. Here's the thing about the meat shield, because he said that tonight with Tucker gone. Now I'm the I'll be the target, right? But if we have an HOH tonight that's physical and he doesn't win it, is that bad for him, or is that actually really
No,
good for him?
I think it's good for him, and I still think he's playing a little rope-a-dope. Like Xavier did, just hanging back. If I win, fine. I'm not going to like overtly throw it, but I'm not going to exert myself either. And really, there haven't been that many physical comps other than the wall.
No, it's because most of the physical, well, like tonight, that one was a physical competition,
Right.
But yeah, there really hasn't been a whole lot. There's likely going to be one tonight. I'm wondering if they will
Well,
do
but they
something
were
like,
all studying video clips all day.
yeah, that's true. They were getting random video
So
clips, like, but okay, so there's some talk from the feeders that this might all just be to mess with them, like,
yeah.
they've done this before, where it's like people start trying to memorize things and then it's actually not what they need to be memorizing.
When you gotta feel we have OTEV coming. We know that, right?
Yep. Yep.
We have the slide across the mucky floor and fill up a barrel with a little thimble sized thing of, not thimble, but
Yes.
little
The
half a,
slip inside. Yep.
yes. So that those are coming. Has there ever been a season that doesn't have both of those? OTEV obviously changes a little now and again, but it's still always the same
Yeah.
comp.
Yeah. We'll have OTEV fairly soon.
And the Zingbot. Where's my Zingbot?
And we're going into jury now, so that's
Right.
official. Um now
And we're losing the AI. Thank the Lord.
I'm really okay with it. I mean, it has listen, here's the benefit to it, I think. The benefit to it is that because you can't do a clean cut backdoor, you there's always this like realm of what's going to happen Thursday night. You never really know
Yeah,
because
and no
they have
question,
to wait for
it's
the
made
AI.
Thursday much more interesting.
So
There's no doubt. And
yeah,
maybe there's something to the first half of the game. They do something like this, and the second half of the game is our traditional,
right.
2-up veto,
Yeah.
2 on the block.
And I've said it before with the AI, I don't mind the competition. I don't mind that it makes it more difficult to plot out who's going to go home. What I really dislike about it is the fact that when the way that they announce the win, I do not like it. If you want to strategize once you've seen who's won, like tonight's a perfect example. Okay, so they find out.
And why did they all get up and walk into another room?
Thank you. Thank you. Rubina wins. So we're going to take 5 minutes where everybody who is in the living room now goes into the living room to have a discussion, or to the bedroom.
Yeah.
Why did they all it's dumb, it's loose, it's messy TV, and it's more nerve-wracking and cringe than it is exciting, and I feel like it's going to diminish what is really exciting about double evictions.
Right. And well, part of this though is there is really, and they're starting to solidify now, but there is really a lack of hardcore alliances. What
Yes.
we're really seeing, probably more than I've ever seen on this show, is these Venn diagrams of a bunch of loose
Oh, and
alliances.
I love it. I'm
No. It
happy
makes it
for
more
that.
chaotic for sure.
There's nothing more blah TV, and we've watched 5 or 6 seasons where it was like the Steamroll Alliance is just the most drudging, boring.
No. I'm
that
not saying it's bad. I'm just saying there haven't been
I
that.
think that at this point they have to now, without AI being that, without that being in there, and you're going to have to make plans and stick with it for backdoors to work.
Well, and this becomes a very consequential HOH.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. I do say though, one last thing on that AI. competition is. If you're going to want them to strategize after you make the announcement of who won, then they shouldn't get the chance to do their final speech because they're literally just repeating the same thing that they just said to everybody, and it's wasted television.
Can we
Just
have
let
a
them
new
see who
rule
wins.
where Angela just can't do a final speech anymore because she is so
Please?
cringe?
Please. Yes, I'm okay with that. I have to say, I do think that Chemo's speech was really good because yeah, okay, you got a little bit of the "this is my dream" thing, I wanna be here, but he made some good points outside of the "I love all of you," he's like, "This is why I wanna be here, this is what I wanna do here, and then, you know what? I wanna at least get to jury.
Right.
Don't cut me now right before jury."
Well, and he strikes me as kind of a kind person who kind of wears
Yeah,
his emotions on his sleeve, and I got a soft spot for those type of people.
yeah,
Like our friend from Pittsburgh, for instance, that's just who
yeah,
he is, and
yeah,
you got to kind of love that guy because you
yep,
know exactly where he's coming from. There's
yeah,
no
yeah.
evil or cunning going on. It's just
Exactly, and I think that I don't think that there's anybody in the house that'd be like, I just don't get Chemo," or, I just don't vibe with him." I think everybody is very much on the, in a place where they're at the very least friendly with him. But I thought his speech was okay. I thought it was good. If they were to give you the opportunity, let's say if they brought this back next season and with a
yeah.
different name, do you think they should just let the house guests watch the competition on the TV?
That's exactly what I think they should do
Yeah, because then
because
if they need to go,
well,
okay, yeah, they're gonna win. So you're gonna
well
vote with us, they can do that there.
then you can also see if like somebody like if I was there, I'd just be sitting back watching how the other people were reacting to who was winning or losing, and that would tell
Yep.
me a ton, right?
Yes. And you know what? This is where I'm going to do a throwback to last season. This is how we know that that has room for being really great TV and entertaining. Is that remember last year when we had Mama C and um Sari, like they were all sitting there watching the pressure cooker
Right.
go on for hours
Yep.
and the conversations that they were having, and that's when the F Bowie Jane thing really started to happen. And that was like I don't mean, obviously that was an hours long competition rather than this very short AI competition, but let them watch it, and then they come back in and then they sit in their seats and then you do your
Yep.
final speeches.
I almost think it could be the formula going forward. I mean, I like it pre-jury, and I'm glad they decided to dump it now. And I have to say, I think we have to give it up for production and for Big Brother because I do believe 7 weeks is a record. It is the longest they have ever stuck with a concept.
It really
You
is.
remember like the gambling concept that lasted through like week 1? And then like we never heard from any of that. The BB
Oh my
Casino, and it
god.
was just gone.
Yeah, the casino, and then there was what else? Like that thing with the tree, and then they had curses or wishes or something on it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's the one with Josh, the season with when Josh won. Um, yeah, okay. They're terrible at this, and we really figured that they were gonna drop this, but it was working for them, and I think with some tweaks, I wouldn't hate it staying in the game. But I do think that there needs to be some tweaks because when you have somebody in there like Tucker playing, you can't get him out of there. It means that the comp beast is going to most likely will
Well,
end up going right into jury.
and that's but that didn't happen, did it?
No,
As a matter of
they
fact,
had one opportunity and they took
he
it.
showed himself so much to be a comp beast that they took the opportunity.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
I don't know. I thought Tucker was entertaining TV. I thought voting him out was the right vote.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no way anybody in there was making a terrible vote for that. Um. So okay. So we've got all that. We've got the AI now. I think that first and foremost, let's stop and take a commercial break while we have it going. And then when we come back in 7 seconds, then
Okay.
we can talk about the emotional roller coaster of these house guests.
After the break. And we're back.
Okay. Did you have a good cry? Did you sit down? Did you have a good cry?
I
What
did.
was
I had a
it?
good cry, although I couldn't get any tears to come out. No
I
tears.
just tried. It's so hard in this house. There's just everything so hard in this house. Oh my God, these people. I don't even care. I'm not complaining. I love it. I ended the episode laughing so hard at everybody in there just sobbing. Go for it. I don't care. You're stressed out. It's going to happen easily. But, you know, I'm watching the game from the outside and just seeing it as a game. So it's really hilarious to me. Um, like just how over the top these emotions get. But
But I
I'm
give it up for Joseph when, she asked him if he was hurt or whatever. He goes, "Look, it's a game." He goes, "15 of us were gonna lose."
yeah,
He goes,
yeah.
"Only one gets to win."
Yeah, I don't feel betrayed because, I was lying to
He goes,
you.
"I've been lying to people all summer."
That's the truth, you know.
Yeah.
If you had somebody who is your friend, I feel like maybe the only betrayal he probably felt this week was just from Quinn. You
But she
know,
asked him that directly, and he said no.
I think he's lying. I think he felt a little betrayed. That's why he was like, "I'm coming after you." Rah, rah,
You know,
rah.
speaking of somebody being butthurt and betrayed, does T-Core have zero EQ? I mean, she's flipped the house twice, and
Mhm.
then she's furious that Quinn puts chemo up. What did you expect?
Well, this is what's fun about T-Core is that she is furious. She says in her DR, but it's not something you see at all outside of the DR.
Well,
It's
because she
like,
doesn't do it. Because outside of the DR, all she says is "mm-hmm,
yeah, she's like, she's
mm-hmm."
so like, okay, yep, that's how we have to do things. And I do. Speaking of T-Core, okay. So her accent. I'm sad that Christy's not here because I feel like Christy would probably I think Christy would probably get this, and I might have to talk to her about it later, more than you would. But when we were watching the veto competition and T-Core was hosting it, and her accent when she's saying, like so and so got another number.
Yeah,
Like, there's a character on the American Tail on the Fievel movie.
yeah. I've never seen it.
I didn't think so, but there is a character on there, and it is like listening to this character. It was. I'll talk to Christy about it. Maybe somebody listening will know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I chuckled. It was great. But yeah, Tikwa just has her conversations and then does a lot of and you know what? Maybe that works for her because when people are talking to her, they feel like she just agrees with everything they say. I don't know. I don't know what her magic is, but it's working so far.
But I mean, arguably, she and Chemo have blown up as many people's games as Angela.
Yes.
It
Yes.
just hasn't been messy.
Well, okay. And the funny part about it is the games that they're always blowing up is like when Quinn has the power. It's Quinn is more in danger with T-Core than he ever has been with Angela.
Of course.
But I mean, I can't blame him for wanting to get Angela out. I'm not going to shame him for it.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
I don't. Again, we could talk about it all night. You'll never convince me that getting Angela out helps his game 1 inch.
sometimes you just have to kick out the bad roommate.
I get that. I get that when you're at 16, 15, 14. That makes sense to do that.
Now,
But
this
when you're
deep
this
into the
when
game,
you're this deep, you have to if you have the opportunity to get rid of somebody who can beat you, you must do it or try.
yeah. But I mean, honestly, it's not like he had the choice necessarily as far as Angela went. But I mean,
Right. But I mean, his
Angela going was way better for his game than Joseph going.
well, fair, but that's because he screwed up and put Joseph instead of T-Core up. If he'd have put T-Core up, and then
But he really does.
and then Rubina wins, then it's T-Core or Chemo, and you know what? It doesn't matter which one goes home because they're the same person because they're always going to vote together.
Yeah, it is a little bit mind numbing that Quinn keeps putting all of this stock into Leah and wanting to work with T-Core. Like I said, it works for me. Fine. She's my winner's pick. Go for it. But it does from the perception that we have versus the perception that he has. he needs to be getting T-Core out because she's going
Tico
to.
or Chemo, one of the two, because together they're too powerful, especially now when
Yeah.
you only need 4 votes to throw somebody out.
Yeah. And I mean, Chemo has, he's been in 2, did he had to do another AI, right? Has he done 2 now?
He
T-Core,
won the
but
first one.
and has T-Core had to do an AI?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So I don't know how long that duo has left in the game. I mean, at some point you're gonna have to, you know the rule. You go after the duos, especially if they're a strong duo.
Well, and is it possible that Cam and Chelsea decided to vote separately because they don't want to be perceived as a duo?
I mean, it's
And
possible.
this whole Mackenzie thing is contrived just to kind of let the house not. I mean, if they're doing that, then they deserve to win. I'm not saying they are. There's no indication they are, but
It's clearly it's always possible. I wouldn't bet any money on it. And if they were doing
Cam
it,
would come
you're
up with
right.
it, but I could see Chelsea coming up with that.
Yeah, and if they were doing it and that was a successful way of moving forward, like that's the bee's knees on
Well, yeah,
strategy.
could you imagine sitting on the final and going, and then I had Cam flirt with Mackenzie, and I acted upset about it, so you guys wouldn't realize we were still working together. We even voted apart for a week.
I really want to get back and dig in and see with Mackenzie's vote if she really was planning to vote one way or the other, what that was, because I feel like this is something Mackenzie has done in the game that you first part of the game, I'm, like Mackenzie's just kind of floating from room to room, and I don't know what her game is. I don't see her gaming. She's not there. But then she started to get this ability. Like, it's funny because Tucker was an instigator, but it's kind of like Mackenzie's sort of the instigator, because she's getting people to view and have a perception of other players. Like, she's changing their minds with, like,
Sure.
he's saying, "Oh, I think Angela is the instigator," and there was another example, but I just had a brain fart of when she's done this. In this situation, if the plan was, if her alliance plan was, Chemo goes, Joseph stays, and she moved her vote, if she could convince even one other person in that house that it was Angela.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she could do it. If anybody else could, she's done it twice now. I think she could do this, but it really relies on knowing what the plan was before they went in, because I do not know where she was standing for sure.
When she went in to vote, it appeared to me like she made the decision on the spot. Like she said, I regretfully vote to it. And she sat there and she paused. And it was like, and so one of two things: either she really decided right at that moment, or she's Meryl Streep, because I totally bought that she made that decision in front of the camera.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think she knew what she was going to do, and that's what I said. I don't think she knew until she said it.
Yep. I mean, everyone else walked in and made their vote. They knew where they were going.
Yep. And Angela just knew that she just didn't have enough votes to make it happen.
And I want to give some more credit to CBS production this week, because they 3 times muted the shout outs as they were walking out of the room. 3 times they just cut the audio feed.
No more.
Angela and 2 others. And I'm like, I don't want to hear about little Johnny at home. I don't know who that is. I'm never going to see him. It means nothing to me as a viewer. I don't know why they've allowed it to go on for all this time.
Yep. It's too much.
It seems to me there's certain things they have to do, like who wants to see my HOH room? They all use the same line. So it must be that they're required to say it. It's time to do the veto. They don't come out and go, dude's veto. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
So they must have to read it, and like even like when they use the veto, they go, as I have now vetoed one of your nomination, you as HOH must name a
Yeah,
replacement nom.
there's
Right.
sometimes it's like some people have a really hard time with being able to get those lines out correctly, and
Right.
it
So
takes
I think
them
that's on a
forever to do
teleprompter.
it.
They're reading that,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And so
they have to memorize it. Yeah.
or it's behind them, right?
Yeah.
You don't know, right? But it doesn't matter. But the point is, they could tell the House, because you know what, you don't do shout outs. We don't
Yeah.
want them.
And they used to.
Because
They
it's
really
just
did.
it's like, I don't know. And can we have of somebody's speech to stay be something more than, I love you guys, I love all you guys, I just want to stay, it's been my dream.
One of my favorite things to hate about the speeches is that, like, it seems like everybody does this. I still have game to play. I'm not ready to leave
Right,
yet.
it's like the same
Nobody
speech every week.
cares. I don't care. I don't care if you feel like you have more game to play. Is your game going to mess with my game?
Right. Why wouldn't you, at that point, if you think you're on behind the votes, why wouldn't you go to the people who you think are going to vote against you and go, and here's why you're being deceived by other people, and you should vote for me because I'll give you more loyalty than these people. Why wouldn't you start pulling at the threads?
I think
They
that the
used to
people
do that.
But I think that is partially due to the type of player that is playing the game, because I think if you have somebody who's truly strategic, their keep me speech is going to cause somebody to get information that they didn't have before.
Right.
I don't think that happens in players like the ones that we have now. Again, not complaining about
Do
them,
you
but
think that's generational? I mean, do you think it's like,
I think it's a mix of
you
things.
know, as we've moved off the Gen Xers and the millennials into the into what is it? What's the new one? Z or whatever they are. You know what I'm saying? And
I
they
think
just,
that maybe there is something to that.
because certainly that generation doesn't like confrontation.
Yes, but also
Whereas Gen Xers would be like, all right, MFer, it's on. Let's go. You know?
True. But there's a few things that are definitely different. And part of it might have to do with the casting and what type of personality they're pulling into the house. But you're right. I mean, you're looking at a show that 20 years ago, it was a very different caliber of person and mindset that was in that house. I mean, we don't have smokers anymore. Like, it's all these different,
Well, I don't think
like,
they can't. They probably can't.
yeah, they can't, they like don't have smokers in the house anymore. Like, I think that started during the COVID time. I'm not
Can
sure.
Can they show smoking on live unscripted TV anymore? I bet
They they might not be able to,
I
which
know
is
they can on dramas and stuff, but I don't know whether.
that's probably a big part as to why they don't have it anymore, but also because it does create a lot of angstiness. Because here's the thing, you've got someone like, we'll use Dick as an example. Dick Donato, Evil Dick. Okay, yeah, his personality type aside, he was a smoker,
Right.
and
So was his daughter, wasn't she?
Danielle, I can't remember if she
I'm
was.
almost certain.
But if you lock down that backyard, because when they go into lockdown, because they're building a set in the backyard, because that's where all of these competitions take
Right.
place, is in the backyard. Sometimes those sets, like the OTEV, that
Take a day and a
takes
half, or
a long time, like up to 2 days to put that together. So if you're a smoker in the house and suddenly you can't smoke for 2 days, they'll offer you, patches and nicotine gum and all that stuff. But that's going to make for some short tempers and some short fuses in those people. Also, you only get the cigarettes you came in with. So if you run out, that's it. And they
did anyone ever like take somebody's cigarettes and stomp them out of spite? Because that would have been a great move. Could you imagine like Evil Dick got under someone's skin and they took his cigarettes and just tore them up and he wouldn't get any more?
I feel like that has happened on some level before. Maybe not quite as in your face like that, but I think that that's happened before. And
I know, like, they've taken the condoms and hit them.
Yes.
So like people couldn't hook up.
Right. And there's been a long history of smokers in this show. I mean, like it used to be every season there was at least 2 people, But
Well,
I
there
mean,
aren't that
even
many
Ian,
smokers left in the world, let's be honest.
yeah, there really isn't. But even Ian, even Ian smoked. It's so
No,
weird.
did he really?
Yes.
Little Ian?
Yep. Yep. So if you have something like that, if you have a vice like that, you have an addiction, you run out of cigarettes, they're not going to let you have more come in. They'll say, "Hey, we'll help you try to quit." But
I have a twist for next year.
all right.
I think we should have, I think before eviction night, about 3 hours, they should give them a little party and give them all gummies and have the gummy eviction
I
night.
love it. I love
That
it.
would be hilarious. It's legal. Why not? I mean,
Is
they
it,
probably
yeah, it's legal is legal in California.
right.
So
No, absolutely.
so why not? I think that it should be allowed. It should be in somebody's HOH basket, maybe.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be funny if they were all baked and like the double eviction and then
wouldn't
somebody
hate it.
just sit there going, dude.
Maybe that's exactly why they don't.
You got to admit it'd be some good TV.
I wouldn't hate it. I'm pretty certain I would love it actually.
Okay, so let's
So-
talk about what happens based on who wins HOH. Quinn cannot compete.
Nope.
Which is kind of bull crap with AI going away.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost think they should let him compete, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, I don't know. Did you see something that said he is not allowed to?
Oh, HOH, the outgoing HOH never has been. I haven't seen anything that says he is allowed to.
But there was something. Oh, was it Angela? Somebody was allowed to compete in the HOH.
Well, yeah, because when he took her HOH.
Yeah,
remember?
that's what it was. Yes. Okay. Yep. Because he took it. So
Well, and they didn't make that clear earlier either. And I think they should, when they're going to do something like that, they should tell you.
let everyone know the rules ahead of time.
Well, so it doesn't seem like they're making them up based on what they want to happen.
Right. So okay, first of all, who for HOH? Who are your suspects? Who are you suspecting is going to be the HOH this week? I'm only making us do it because I'm on a roll because I got the last 3. And so, I just want to see if it works.
I'm going to go out on a very, very, very narrow, rickety limb here and say it's going to be MJ. It's Mackenzie.
Yeah. I don't think it's that rickety of a limb, to be honest.
No, I mean, she's won some competitions and stuff. So
Yeah. I think that's a fair shot. I really do. Yeah. I like the idea of that. Yeah, see, you got me thinking Mackenzie might be the win. Do you think that they're doing
if it's a video thing, it could be Chelsea, right? Could be Chelsea, could be T-Core in the video
could
thing.
be Angela?
Nah, she's not that observant.
Listen, here's the thing to remember about that. If there's a pretty good chance that anything that you have to memorize, you have a 50-50 chance. It's a true or false, most likely.
Right.
Or like a 3 pictures, something. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, A, B, and C is what they usually do, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that Mackenzie's a pretty good call, but I'm going to, just so that we're not on the same thing, I'm going to say that we're going to get, I think Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea's going to have some, some oomph behind her right now that she's going to need to push through it.
Okay. I like that pick, and you are the HOH whisperer, so. But
it's a weird thing. I mean, it might not be tonight, but
what I'm saying, you're right 2 in a row.
It was pretty weird.
And if I'm right this week, I'm going to be like, I'm assistant to the HOH whisperer.
The Panda Bears rule
and
again.
Christy, you're nothing.
Christy, get with it. Start making good HOH picks.
If we do that, we'll have to change our little things, our little titles.
Christy never picks
whisperer.
the HOH. Yes. But I mean,
okay, so let's run through that. So if Chelsea wins, who do you think she puts up?
If Chelsea wins, she's gonna put up.
I mean,
probably,
logically,
I feel like she would God, see, I don't know if you would have asked me this 18 hours ago, I would have had my answers. But now her vote makes me unthink all of those answers.
Yeah. I mean, logically, it's Chemo, Rabina, Tikor, right?
Yeah, but I kind of feel like Chelsea's gonna go after Mackenzie. I feel like she would put Mackenzie up, probably Leah. Maybe to backdoor somebody. Who would she go after as a backdoor though? Like, I don't feel like she hasn't any real beef.
Unless she's really butthurt over Cam and she's going to backdoor him.
Right. And honestly, I mean, Angela is the kind of person, like, if you're going to get Angela out, Angela going out as a backdoor is probably the best option as far as the sanity of the week. But the meltdown that it would cause somebody like Angela probably will keep her from ever being
is wasting their HOH at this point on Angela.
Maybe not.
I'm sorry. I got like 8 Facebook pages if you want to go on them. And they all want Angela. As a matter of fact, I got booted. I officially got booted by the Nurse Ratchet. Booted me.
You're free.
And you know what she booted me for? The very same post I put on Tally the Votes. Was there anything offensive in that?
No.
No, but I attempted to post it after she had posted something that said, put any more posts tonight under this thread because I don't feel like approving anymore.
Well,
and so I submitted it because I didn't see it, and she threw me out.
That's okay. You're better off for it. It's happier to be outside of the asylum than in the asylum, David.
I know, but she did do great summaries of the feeds.
There are other reputable sources that aren't
no
cuckoo with power. So
yeah, she was nuts. This was like her world. There were like 4 posts a day about how hard it was for her to end in the page.
Well, I mean, maybe she should get some reliable assistance. That's what the rest of us do when it's just too much.
No,
I mean, that's my thought. That I'm not a genius, but sometimes I have good ideas.
But it's just funny because I've been booted from I have been booted from a grand total of 1 page on Facebook and had another where I was rather strongly suggested it might be best if I wasn't there anymore. You're in that group too.
How do you know I'm not in the other group that you just got booted?
You could be. You could be Nerd Ratchet. I have the power here.
Crazier things have happened.
I am the captain now.
I am the captain now. No more wire hangers, David.
Oh, it was just, I couldn't even believe it. Of all the absurd reasons to get thrown off a page.
I'm both very happy for your newfound freedom and the rebirth.
Oh, I'm still in like 4 others, but they all.
I'm a little sad that we don't get to roll our eyes and mock the power struggle of
the Angela hate though that is out there on Facebook.
I know,
is
it's
incredible.
It's a lot.
I mean, like every other post is about Angela. She's not the most important character anymore.
Yeah, and okay, here's the thing. I'm not going to be done complaining about it, Angela. I can guarantee it simply because I know what Angela has given us so far. And there's lots of times where the cringe is way too much. But the moments, like I said earlier, when Chemo said that he had voted for Tucker and she just instantly started crying, like, I'm sorry, but that is gold. That is a gold treasure of amazing, so look, they replayed it tonight because they knew what they had. They knew what they had when they got it. But all of that aside, we do have to remember that it's a game show and it's people, like real people, and the people have family members, and the family members are on Twitter and they're on Facebook, and they can't do anything to protect their person in that situation.
Right.
So her daughter was on there the other day just talking about how hard it was seeing her mom. And I feel for that. I really, truly believe that there's so many people that go way, way, way too far.
Like the people who started calling her real estate office trying to get her fired.
That's crazy.
Come on. on.
It's listen, we got personalities on television because if it was just like a normal, sane, boring person, that's not fun to watch. So we're gonna get people who are zany. And no, I wouldn't be able to live in the same house happily with that person, but I am entertained for brief moments throughout the week due to their antics.
Right.
You know,
And just think, if either of us were on the show, we wouldn't be the same person in real life that we're, you know what I'm saying?
right, right. And it would be really difficult. I mean, honestly, if you really ever it should go without saying. I feel like this world should have enough, like the minimum of empathy to go, what would you do if you were in that house or your spouse was in that house or your kid was in that house? How
Well,
would you feel about everything being said about them? And if
yeah.
it's, it's going to be hard for any of those people. But it also goes to show why you should be careful about what you say when you're in
Well, no,
the
I
Big
mean, look,
Brother house.
there's certain things, like if you go on a racist rant, you get what you get.
You're
You
gonna
know what
get
I'm saying?
yeah,
If you go on a homophobic rant, you get what you get.
right.
I'm not defending those folks at
No,
all. No,
no.
what I'm saying is, through via normal gameplay,
Yep.
there has to be a place in the world where we can just go, I really don't like this person, but I don't have to go after him and try to have him removed from the show. I mean, they were still this week saying Angela should be removed for bullying Matt.
Yeah,
That was
that's
like 6 weeks ago.
oh my God, I can't. Like, there's so many people there's people in this season that I'm going to follow them probably on Twitter or whatever, their social medias when they get out of the house and their social medias are up and running again, because that's primarily the only reason I have Twitter. Uh, but there are people that I just like, and
Good thing you don't live in Brazil, or you wouldn't have it.
it happens in every single season of Survivor, Big Brother, some seasons of Amazing Race, if I actually sit around and watch them. There's always people that I might not in the house or in the game. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this person. But then I end up following them on social media and I like love following them. Like they have
Right.
interesting and funny things to say or whatever.
I mean, perfect example was last year with our AU Survivor winner, who I was really critical of early on in the season. I didn't like him. I was pretty vocal. I wasn't mean spirited, but I didn't like him. And then he actually ended up listening to our show a couple of times, and I felt bad about what I had said earlier. And I ended up like, he's one of my favorites now.
Yep. Yep.
But so
That's
often
how it
people
goes.
people look at this and go, I don't like this person, I must ruin their life. And I don't know where we got to. There are people whose lives deserve to be ruined.
Yeah,
Okay.
there are some pretty atrocious human beings, and those
Right.
people get on TV just like
You know,
the not atrocious people.
but if you're just a hater, right? If you're a hater because of race or because of sexuality or whatever it is, you get what you get.
You get what you
that
get.
but if you're just like an offensive human being, you know what? That's good TV.
Yeah,
You know?
like I said, you've gotta cast people that are going to be entertaining to watch, whether for good or for bad.
Right, exactly. I mean, look, as much as people criticize Evil Dick, we talk about him every season.
Yeah, he's still one of my favorite players of the game. No one has bumped him out of my top 3. I mean,
Sure. I mean, and Survivor, Russell Hantz. I mean,
he's
you know,
you know what, as a player in the game, his game was fun to watch. He as a
right.
person is pretty rough around the edges and not always known for saying the nicest things.
No. I understand that, but I'm saying that based on his gameplay, his life shouldn't have been ruined.
But his game was fun to watch, and that's the thing. It is difficult if you have too many people that are against the ideas of there being villains, but it is also not fun when we have to sit and watch real villains.
Wasn't it Probst who said the era of the villains is done on Survivor? I'm not casting villains anymore.
Yeah, well, the fun thing is about villains is that you might not cast them, but they still exist.
Oh, that was like, what was her name? What was her name? Avi Marie or Andy
Yes.
Marie
Yep.
or and she was a villain of the first order, but you never would have seen it coming.
Yes. Speaking of
I've got the
villains,
name wrong. It's something Marie. It's Amy,
Abby Marie.
Marie. Yeah, Abby Marie. And you wouldn't have seen her. I don't think it came out in the casting that she'd be a villain.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Some people are just going to be the villains in the game just because their personalities are what they are. But you know who isn't a villain is Julie Chen when she wears her teacher's outfit. Didn't she look like a teacher tonight?
She did.
I didn't hate it. It's fine. Yeah.
She did. And on behalf of every red-blooded American male who watched the show tonight, Mackenzie's dress was just awesome.
I didn't even notice Mackenzie's
But
dress.
you know what's funny? Because it's just one of those dresses. Guys love them because you think you're seeing more than you're seeing.
Was it like a maxi? I didn't even.
It had two gold things, and there was like a triangle that was open here. It was black.
Okay.
Yep. It was black and long, and of course she's super tall, so it worked for her.
She's as tall as she can be.
It was a perfect fashion choice for her. It wouldn't have worked for everybody, but it worked for her.
I do like that we're getting, I don't know, it is kind of fun to just be like, Julie, what the hell are you wearing? It is, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of fun. But I do like that Julie's like fashion, her wardrobe this year has been a little bit less like, what the hell? It's like the word got in that maybe we're stretching a little too much. She hasn't looked like a toilet paper cover.
And there hasn't been a lot of fringe. Well, no, there was some fringe earlier, wasn't there? There was.
There really hasn't been too many bad choices this season. Not like last season, which was just bizarre. But
you know what? You know what tonight looked like to me? Like she was sitting around the house and went, "Oh shit, I got to go to work," and just went.
Yes.
And that's what she was wearing all day.
I like it. I'm all right with that. That was all right. But anyway, it was an interesting week. We'll have to see who gets the HOH tonight, tomorrow. Who knows when we'll know, when the feeds will come back and tell us.
And we're all alive with our winners pick.
Yeah, we're still in the game.
I have Cam, you have T-Core, and she has Quinn, if I recall.
Yep, we're all still in the game.
Now, let me ask you a question. As much as we all like to be right with our winners pick, is that still who you like? Of the remaining players, who would you wish to win? Just because of who they are and how they've played. And
I still think it's T-Core. That's what I made my vote on this year, is who I wanted to win, not who I.
Well, no, I understand, but you're also 7 weeks in of watching them, and I
still feel pretty good about her. I mean, I still really like her. I think she has a good balance in her game. I do hope that she is able to create a little bit of a pathway for her resume if she does get into that. I don't know what her final 3 will look like, because I have no idea who the others would be up there. But yeah, I still feel pretty good about it.
I think Cam still has a path to win.
Yes,
but I would far prefer to see Chelsea win at this point.
I kind of feel like Chelsea is the front runner.
I like how she's playing. I like everything except the little jealousy thing today, which I thought was, but maybe some of that's a show too. So
yeah, and I don't know how much of it is true jealousy. I think it's more of like
oh gross, I'm just not dealing with this. What
is this? Yeah, like why are
or maybe he's sending her mixed messages. Maybe he's saying one thing to her and then he's doing that.
He has managed to kind of spread his wings in the house with all the ladies. So yeah, maybe they could be too. But
I'll never fault a guy for doing that.
I hope that I don't know. I feel like there's a really good chance that no matter who gets HOH, I just have this sneaking suspicion Quinn's ass is going to be on the block.
Oh, for sure.
Like next on the.
Unless it's somebody who does a T-Core chemo, right? Yeah, it's going to be Quinn Angela is to me the most probable block, regardless of who wins.
So I would say, since we don't have 3 anymore, I would say that there's a pretty good chance you're going to have Quinn and either T-Core or no, because if Quinn's on the block, I don't think that T-Core or Chemo would be on there.
All right, that's what I'm saying. If Tico goes up, so does
Maybe
Chemo. And then Rubina's the back door. It's a combination of those three.
Yeah, there you go. It'll probably be Quinn and Rubina. That's probably who.
But I'm saying if you go after T-Core and Chemo, Rubina's your back door, right? That logically those three are working together.
Well, yeah, but I think it's less of a back door and more of a plan B.
Right. Well, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, that's probably a better way to say it.
Yeah. I don't think that anybody's feeling like they got to, dupe her to get her out of there. But I mean, hey, if she pushes herself into an asthma attack to win a veto, don't count her out.
Well, Jamie, before we wrap up, I was watching today. I watched Mike, our friend Mike Bloom, and Rob do a little preview of an upcoming show. And aren't you going to be doing a podcast on Survivor this year?
Yeah, I sure will. It's going to be. We'll probably start premiere night, but I'm guessing that we may do a week early. Do a little review of the cast as well. And that's going to be on the Jay and Jack YouTube channel, the red one, or on the Jay and Jack Whole Enchilada feed if you prefer to listen by podcast. But this season's, I don't know, there's 2 podcasters that are going to be on this season that I listen to.
Yeah.
One of them has done all sorts of Big Brother coverage. So kind of excited to see how they play.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great season. You're gonna be on with Colleen and Jack again, right?
I am to assume yes.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah, but if you want to listen to this on a podcast rather than see our shiny little mewy faces, as the kids are saying these days, I
have a shiny little old face.
You can find us on iTunes and Spotify and Heart Radio and all of the places you listen to your podcasts.
But not the Podbean. You cannot find us on the Podbean. Actually, I think you probably can. I think just Jamie can, but
weirder things have happened. So I'm not even going to get defensive about that. It's probably true. But you can check us out on there. Tally the Votes under the Jay and Jack Productions. Otherwise, we are also on the Facebook. Come join our Facebook page. You don't have to do anything. You just hit join and we'll be like, yeah, cool. Because we're not going to be like, I'm me, the admin, I'm going to bed tonight. So no more posts or I'm kicking you off.
Well, you got to put your post as a comment under this particular thread.
No, dude, just come on over and then hit follow and just like chill. It's cool. It's cool.
It is.
If we find some sweet, juicy gossip or something, we put it on there. And we also do this for Survivor and The Traitors and pretty much any reality competition. Maybe there's one you watch that we don't watch, and you can convince us to watch it.
And if you're not a Jeff Probst fan, you'll find an ally. I'm your ally. I'm your guy. So come on over and
we welcome all.
Jamie will defend Probst to both of us.
I mean, listen, it's not so much that I'm defending Probst, but I'm really on the you see something, say something. Okay. Yeah. I'm just standing up for people, but not really. It's Probst, whatever. He ain't standing up for me, guys. All right. I think that's everything. Next Thursday. And then we're going to have a weird schedule that's coming up for Wednesday.
Next Thursday is a 2-hour episode. So.
Is it? Next Thursday?
I saw that somewhere, so
okay,
maybe not.
I do think that I screen capped it, and I will get it onto the Tally the Votes Facebook page. I know Wednesday nights are about to have a really weird schedule for a couple of weeks
because of Survivor,
and then we will have Thursdays change a little bit in the last week of the season. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure that your DVRs are good to go, and yeah, we'll see you here next Thursday.
Until then, a call out to the universe who hopefully allowed Christy's car to start.
I really hope she made it home safe and sound.
Christy, we missed you. I had to behave tonight.
That's true. Somebody has to. Somebody has to. Okay, guys. Well, we'll see you next Thursday.
So long.
Bye.